Hey guys, welcome back to another installment of Trini Point of View. So Spider-Man Homecoming on opening night, and well, things happen and I didn't really get time to do the review, and when I did, the audio was horrible, so posting this one late. The good thing is, I'm going to do two reviews in one. First, I'm going to review Spider-Man Homecoming, and later on at the end, I'm going to do a Movie Town VIP review, which you should definitely stick around for. Tom Holland as Peter Parker was really good. His high school scenes were very grounded and true to what a high school kid should be going through at this age. One of the reasons it works so well is because of all his friends around him, and the stuff that it would be, little banter back and forth is exactly what we experienced growing up in high school, which is one of the, probably like the ideal version of Peter Parker and his friends, where this is exactly what you expect in high school, and that's why it works so well. Tom Holland as Spider-Man now was actually very fun. It's exactly what I pictured throughout the 90s watching the Spider-Man animated series, and exactly how he was web slinging and these things is exactly what I always pictured in my mind. And one of the things the movie did, what I thought was really cool, was they actually addressed how Spider-Man would get around like in a regular neighborhood where there's no tall buildings, no trees, no light poles. And how else would he get around? He has to run, or he hop a ride on top of a car or a truck. One of the things that I also noticed is we did not have any spidey sense in the movie. Michael Keaton as Vulture was a very multi-dimensional character. He played the victim role really well, he played the dad role very well, and he played a hell of a Vulture, which was terrifying anytime he was on screen. Tony Stark, despite being in all of the Spider-Man Homecoming trailers, he wasn't in the movie that much. And I think that worked really well because it kept the focus on Spider-Man and ensured that we did not think this was an Iron Man 4. Now for the one review I know all geeks are actually waiting on, Marisa Tomei as Aunt May. And I'm going to leave it as this was just perfect and she was hot. Let's leave it at that. Jacob Batalon played Peter's best friend Ned, and as I mentioned before, one of the reasons this Peter Parker worked so well is because of the friends around him, and his best friend Ned actually was such a delight to have on screen. He was very funny, but he was not too funny at the same time, so it left me wanting just a little bit more of him every now and then. But as I said, that's one of the reasons this Peter Parker worked really well. His support, which was his friends throughout high school and especially Ned, are really what pushed him forward and kept that grounded true high school feeling to Peter Parker. Now throughout the whole production of Spider-Man Homecoming, we heard about Zendaya being in the movie, and everybody speculated that she was going to be Mary Jane, but she's actually a character by the name of Michelle, who's not in the movie as much as I thought she would have been in. I was a little disappointed that I expected to see a lot more of her, and coming on to the end of it, she actually has a scene where she says, well, all my real friends call me MJ. So that's when you know she's actually really Mary Jane. I hope it's not Michelle Jane. I mean, you're calling her Michelle all the time, right? So let's say she's MJ. But one of the reasons her character works really well coming on to the end is because we actually see Peter walking away from her, and she actually gives him the look of like, I have a crush on you. And I think that really hinted to something more, and something that we can look forward to in the Spider-Man Homecoming universe. Laura Harrier as Liz, who was Peter's crush throughout the movie, was a very well-written character. One of the reasons I would say that is because Peter didn't just have a crush on her, she actually had a crush back on Peter, and usually it's the nerd crushing on the hot girl in school, and it was cool to see it going back and forth instead of it just being a one-way crush, which is Peter on her. So that was actually cool and well written, and I appreciated that. The return of Happy Hogan and Pepper Potts. Finally. Happy wasn't in the movie that much despite being in all the trailers similar to Tony Stark, but that was a good thing because it kept the focus on Peter. And Pepper Potts showed up at the very end of the movie, which was like the icing on the cake for me. It's exactly what I wanted back in the MCU, Pepper Potts alongside Tony Stark. I've missed her, I'll admit that. And Gwyneth Paltrow, she just has that Pepper Potts flavor, and I just can't wait to see her in the MCU moving forward. Oh, Donald Glover, before I forget, Donald Glover was in a couple of the trailers, but he actually was not in the movie that much at all. But the good thing about it is he's such a talented actor that no matter what scene he is, how small or how big, he's always going to make it cool. Negatives are not that much. I thought maybe some scenes were a bit too stretched and dragged on a little too long. The film tries to stay self-contained, but with so many Avengers tie-ins, it's hard to see it as a standalone movie as we could have seen Captain America Winter Soldier a couple of years ago. Probably my biggest negative, but as I'm saying, even though these are negatives, it did not ruin the movie for me in any way. But one of the things is, I didn't get that high stakes and that emotional depth that I got in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2. Even when Spider-Man was holding on to the train in Spider-Man 2 and in Amazing Spider-Man 2 when Gwen Stacy died, I didn't get any kind of emotional depth when it comes to Spider-Man Homecoming. There wasn't any real high stakes, which I mean, we tried to keep the movie grounded and keep it in its own little world, as in just the Spider-Man world, and it's not a world-ending movie similar to Ant-Man. It wasn't a world-ending movie, but I felt like I needed that high stakes, like really probably somebody could die at some point, and maybe I just need that emotional depth, like how when Stacey died in Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I thought I was just lacking a bit, and that was the only negative, major but still minor negative for me. I'm giving Spider-Man Homecoming a 9 out of 10. I'm going to fill you in on that after I give you my overall thoughts on the movie. So overall, Spider-Man Homecoming was great fun, it was entertaining, it was filled with everything that I wanted it to be. Despite lacking the emotional depth, this film was totally fun, and I just can't, I know I want to give and take, but you know what, it was fun. I left the movie smiling. This version of Spider-Man, it reminded me a lot of, you know, like the real world of what a kid would go through, you know, if he really got Spidey powers and these things. So I think that's one of the reasons the movie was so relatable, and it was exactly what most diehard fanboys of Spider-Man growing up would have pictured a Spider-Man movie being. Now, even though I had some negatives and I gave it a 9 out of 10, I battled with myself on the way home from the theater, thinking, you know, like Wonder Woman was a 9 out of 10. Then I saw some great movies before Baby Driver, and it wasn't on the level of that, because you know, those movies were a lot superior to this. But then I realized, you know what, I could still give this a 9 out of 10, because in its own way, I had so much fun with it, and it's exactly what I wanted from Spider-Man. And it has a 9 out of 10 in a different way than Wonder Woman, and a different way than Baby Driver. So that's why I'm giving it a 9 out of 10, because in its own way, it did its own thing, and it entertained me thoroughly. So as I promised, Movie Town VIP, I had such a, oh wait, this is not a paid advertisement. So Movie Town VIP, I had such a blast inside there. You know, it's such a comfortable, cozy theater. You actually have blankets. The screen is huge for such a small theater room. The screen is huge. I was real impressed with like how visually stunning the movie was through that screen. The food was not overpriced. It's like restaurant food at a reasonable cost. The waitresses, they were real pleasant. Everybody was, you know, it was just right. The audio was amazing. The seats were comfortable and they reclined, and I just had a blast. One of the things that I always have, it's one of my major pet peeves, is going to like the bigger theaters and you always have so many people talking around you. But in this VIP, it's such a private, enclosed area that you can't get distracted no way, no how, and it's just you and that big screen. And Movie Town VIP, thumbs up, good job. Alright guys, thanks for checking out another installment of Trini Point of View. Remember to hit me that thumbs up, comment down below on your thoughts on Tom Holland as Spider-Man and what you expect from him in the greater MCU. Also hit that notification bell down at the bottom to get notifications anytime I post new videos, and as usual, see you again.